about 2,500 miles away. We'll let you know what type of impacts we could see right here in the mid-state coming up.
And we head back to the Peach State's capital as lawmakers held their annual Eggs and Issues breakfast. Our Ashton Packer brings us what's at the top of their agenda for this legislative session. Plus, we've all been affected by inflation. Just everyday items, gas, food, it all costs so much more. Tonight, we examine the toll inflation is having on the nation as it reaches its highest levels in decades, along with whether the Biden administration missed warning signs. Good evening, Middle Georgia, and welcome to Wednesday evening, halfway through the week. I'm Greg Lloyd, and thank you for watching WGXA News at 5.
Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News at 5.
It's about to get real busy at the Gold Dome in Atlanta. A new legislative session is here, and we've got your first taste of what lawmakers will be focusing on at this morning's Eggs and Issues breakfast. With other state leaders, Governor Brian Kemp announced his biggest plans for this year's budget, and it could mean more money in your pocket. Our Ashton Packer is in Atlanta for the legislative session. She joins us from the Fox Theater with more on what it might look like to you as we progress this session.
Not very many eggs, but plenty of buzzy issues at this morning's Eggs and Issues conference. Governor Brian Kemp took the stage before tomorrow's State of the State address to say that he wants to put more cash in your pocket. The annual meeting is meant as a preview to the legislative session. This year, Kemp has big dreams for the 2022 state budget. The highest goal, an income tax refund for all Georgians.
I believe that when government takes in more money than it needs, surplus funds should be sent back to the hardworking men and women to keep our state moving. Because I believe that's your money, not the government's.
Kemp says he would like all taxpayers to receive a $250 refund on this year's return, $500 for couples filing jointly. And in his new budget, senior veterans would no longer have to pay taxes on their retirement income.
And from the men and women who put the uniform on daily and stand in the gap to keep Georgians safe at home and abroad. These men and women deserve more than our words of appreciation, even though we have many to give. They deserve action that shows our gratitude.
He says these big moves are possible with the $2.2 billion surplus the state built up over the last year. Kemp also says he wants to put more money into the Hope Scholarship. The goal? To cover 90% of tuition for each recipient.
If Georgia is to remain the top state for business, it is critical that we make every effort to make higher education affordable for students across the state and ensure that the American dream can be a reality for all Georgians.
Though Kemp made his announcements, there's no guarantee they'll actually happen. His 2022 budget must first be approved by the House and the Senate. He'll address the General Assembly directly first thing Thursday morning. Reporting from the Fox Theater, Ashton Packer, WGXA News.
All right, Ashton, thank you for that. And working together as a united front to combat violence. It's the first thing that some Bibb County commissioners say needs to happen before Macon can start cutting down on violent crimes. Their responses follow an interview that WGXA's Brittany Miller had with Macon Mayor Lester Miller last week. Brittany asked the mayor about curbing violent crime in Macon following a deadly start to 2022 and 2 previous years of record-breaking homicide counts. The mayor said the sheriff is responsible for fighting crime, but also indicated that some longtime commissioners could do more. Commissioners Al Tillman and Mallory Jones agreed to go on camera and share their responses.
We all have to take some responsibility. You can't say we're a team and then when the bad happens, you point the fingers at everybody else. I think, if you're going to be responsible, you take credit for the good. You have to take, credit for the bad as well.
Also got a very proactive mayor who is thinking and has been working on this really since he got into office, and he talked about public safety, campaigned on public safety.
Brittany asked Mayor Miller how long he'd give his newly formed Macon Violence Prevention Program to work before perhaps looking at alternative strategies, and the mayor said 2 years. And if you're in Bibb County and have questions about your trash, Ryland Environmental has answers for you. The county's new trash service will be hosting a live Q&A for the community tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Questions will come from emails, phone calls, social media posts, and comments left during the broadcast. For more information on where to go for that broadcast, just visit our website, WGXA.tv. And looking at the pandemic now, scientists are keeping their eye on the current Omicron surge, saying that the peaks in Britain and U.S. could be coming. Now that would mean cases would drop dramatically because they say the variant is so contagious that it may be running out of people to infect. The University of Washington's COVID model projects U.S. daily cases could hit as high as 1.2 million by January 19th and then fall off. Some researchers are hopeful that Omicron may be the turning point for the virus to become a more manageable illness instead of a worldwide pandemic. And this pandemic, it's had a massive impact on nursing homes. At first, the worry made it so many families were separated for months. Now, fast forward to where we are now, staffing shortages are causing those worries too. Ryan Smith reports it's leaving some families with nowhere to turn.
It has gotten so bad in some states, facilities cannot accept new residents. They don't have the staff to care for them. Some even forced to shut down completely in recent months.
We are facing a significant staffing crisis here in Wisconsin.
The nation's nursing homes and assisted living facilities are getting hammered by a historic staffing shortage, impacting care for society's most vulnerable.
Caregivers, nurses, executive directors, dining staff, everyone, it's very difficult to hire anyone at this point in time.
Burnout is on the rise, and those on the job are forced to pivot to any task that needs done. Wisconsin lawmakers are now working on legislation allowing military members to step in and help provide care.
The problem, though, is what we're seeing from some provider members is that they're unable to accept new residents because they don't have enough staff to care for those residents.
Nationally, the industry has lost 15% of its workforce since the start of the pandemic. That's about 230,000 caregivers, according to the American Healthcare Association.
A couple of facilities in our state did use COVID positive workers due to a total disaster scenario where there simply were no other staff to take care of patients.
In hard-hit Rhode Island, healthcare workers are allowed to stay on the job while COVID positive with no or mild symptoms if staffing reaches a crisis level. Our Sinclair station in Providence reports 16 nursing homes met that grim metric last week.
No one could have anticipated the depth of the staffing challenge that we find ourselves in right now. And this latest surge of Omicron is like nothing we've seen. I mean, just it's a 1-2 punch, perfect storm.
More than half of the reporting nursing homes are not accepting new admissions, causing a troubling ripple effect as emergency rooms and hospitals, also experiencing limited space right now, are forced to figure out where to move patients after that step of their care. In Washington, I'm Ryan Smith.
And Eric, you've been keeping an eye on that forecast all week for us with the potential of some winter weather coming to Georgia, but today I'll have to say was beautiful.
Yeah, temperatures where they should be, average for today, and I know you like that, but you could turn up the thermostat a little bit. I know Greg likes those temperatures in the 70s and 80s, and don't a lot of us. Taking a look into Mercer University right now, 59 degrees. You can see that beautiful sunset, courtesy of our Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network. Looking at 51 in Eatonton, Cochran at 56, 57 in Americus, and 54 in East Bend. Through the rest of the evening, those temperatures falling down to about 38 degrees. Those after dinner strolls could be chilly, but a little bit better than they were yesterday. Temperatures tonight falling all the way down to 32 degrees, partly cloudy.